rightful day to DJ. We on Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast.
Welcome to Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast with DJ John Devar, Nelly Nell, Chris Ryder, and Bodega the DJ on the ones and twos. Your source to knowledge. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Dinner at the Roundtable.
GG, Dinner at the Roundtable Podcast with DJ John Devar, Chris Ryder, and Nelly Nell. You already know we're back live from New York, man. Like every week, we're here in the building, man. We got a special guest today. And our topic for today is professional sports restart during COVID-19. Chris Ryder, introduce our guest.
It's your boy, Chris Ryder. I got a special guest. I want to introduce to the world my brother, Josh, a.k.a. Dose 115. Introduce yourself, my brother.
Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy Josh. You can just find me on my Instagram, Dose_115. I'm here to talk sports.
There you go, man. Sports guru
that
right
shit. He's the shit talking extraordinaire.
You see the background, man.
I see it, man. I see you, you Lakers Nation over there, buddy. We got a lot to talk about.
He ain't Lakers Nation. He's LeBron Nation. That's LeBron all day. He's a LeBron.
Man.
He was a Cavs fan, then he was a Miami Heat fan, then he was back to the Cavs, and then he went to LA. He a LeBron James fan. He ain't got no aliases. But maybe it's at the Knicks, but you know.
Crazy. But before we get into professional sports and our topic of the day, we're gonna chime in a little bit about the hot topic right now, man. Current events, the Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith little debacle that happened over the weekend, entanglement. So everybody basically, if you've been watching the news or you've been on social media, or if you're a fan of Will Smith, or just, you just like watching celebrity gossip, you know what's going on. But for those that don't know what's going on, basically, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith we came together in the Red Table Talk, which is Jada Pinkett Smith's Facebook watch show, right? And the Red Table Talk is basically a show where people go and like review information and just be real with each other about stuff that they've done. It's all about a healing process, all about healing. They basically got together on a special on Friday, this past Friday, to basically talk about a difficult time that they went through in their relationship, where Jada Pinkett Smith started a romantic relationship with a 27-year-old singer called August. I never really heard of this guy before. August Alsina, which was somebody that she was helping heal, supposedly. He had been at the Red Table Talk a couple of times. She was helping him heal because she knew him through celebrity friends, and he was going through a tough time in, the whole celebrity world, and he was like involved in like depression issues, drugs, and whatnot. And she took him in like a little baby, and she nurtured him to the point where she got entangled with him. And on Friday in the Red Table Talk, all the cards was thrown on the table, and Will Smith basically wanted her to reveal her story and how they dealt with it when he found out. And there's a lot of controversy behind what really happened. But you guys, man, you guys heard about it. What's going on, man? How you guys felt about that whole scandal?
Who cares, man? Who cares what they do in their life? That's their life. They don't owe us nothing.
That's their life.
That's their life.
Their life, in my opinion.
I mean,
that's
she wanna go off and do a thing.
Yeah, I mean, she's 45 years old now, 44.
Like 41 when it happened, something like that.
August Alsina, he's a good-looking dude, man. He's young. He's a singer. She was going through. Her and Will Smith were going through little issues. They've been publicly known as having an open relationship, whatever that means, whether it's communication-wise or they see other people. But in this case, her entanglement became public, and people knew about it. And according to August Alsina, Will Smith knew about it because he even asked him for permission out of respect. And that's when the whole controversy started, and it came out because a few people knew about it. There was rumors about it, but there was no concrete proof. And after August Alsina went with Angela V, right, from Power 102 from the Breakfast Club, he had an interview with her where he basically revealed what was going on, and that's when the whole thing blew up, and now the whole world knew about it, and I guess they felt like they had to address it as well. So it is what it is, man. Listen, man, relationships go through tough times all the time, right?
Of
And there's
course, you
people,
with somebody long enough, you're gonna go through shit.
and
You're
there's
gonna go
people
through
that,
ups, downs.
yeah, and there's people that understand that, that happens, especially when you've been with somebody for a long time, and if you gotta not completely break up, but test the waters to see if you guys really love each other, then you got to do that sometimes, because when you're somebody's life partner, as they're quoted to say about each other, life partners, they have millions of dollars invested in property together, they have kids, um, they were willing to take that risk to see other people, to see if they really loved each other. And to tell you the truth, regardless of the scandal, what's going on, all the rumors, at the Red Table Talk, they seemed like they were back on the same page, and it was just a rough patch that they went through. And me being a Will Smith fan and a Jada Pinkett fan as well, because I followed her since I followed her since she started her career. I'm pretty proud that it was a tough decision that they made, but they went through it and they publicly spoke about it, and they have they ain't have really anything else to really say about it, just but say the truth, right? But I think Will Smith was kind of puppy-eyed, man. I've seen them.
Yo, the memes that came out of that shit, bro,
He
was
was crying.
classic.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was crying.
And you know why?
I mean,
I'll
that
tell you
shit.
why. Because Will Smith, come on, Will Smith is probably the top 4 African American actor, right, in the world, right? And
Say
he's a
so.
handsome dude. He didn't go public with any of his entanglements. He probably had a whole bunch of entanglements. But the fact that her shit went public, that's probably what hurt him the most, Because it was supposed to be something, I guess, private between them.
That was private.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but it didn't become private. It didn't stay private. It became public. So I guess that kind of bothered him a bit. And it's always worse when the woman does it for some reason. Because in our society, which I'm not gonna say that it's the right thing, right? It's not the right thing. Women get judged easier than men when it comes to that type of stuff, right? A man can have 10 women. He could be a hero to a lot of people. Oh, he's a hero. He has his wife and he has 5 other girls. But the minute a woman does is a problem. It's a double standard, right?
Yeah, it is.
So
It is a
I don't
double
know.
standard.
It is a double standard. So at the end of the day, man, when you got money and you're famous, that who gives a shit, right? You're gonna do what you're gonna do anyway. Us poor people are the ones that gotta really deal with that shit, moving out and getting new places to live and all this shit. And that affects us most. But that was
Yeah,
our
because
hot topic.
Will Smith could take a freaking flight to fucking Paris and be there for like a month, and
Yeah.
get his mind together, and then he could just stay there for a month.
But
I can't fucking go to
Jada Pinkett,
Paris. I can't even take a
won't.
flight to fucking Florida.
Jada Pinkett, I wonder how she would feel if she finds out that he's dating a crush, a celebrity person. I wonder how she would feel. She probably feel the same way.
Yeah. And she probably knows about his entanglements because they did have an open relationship. But the only thing is that he didn't expose his shit publicly, or the person that he was fucking with. He probably made him sign a disclosure form. Listen, bro, this shit can't come out. I got a family. Me and my wife is just going through a bad time. You cannot at all say anything about it. Like Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter used to make girls sign a contract saying that they wouldn't reveal their romantic activities because of his celebrity status, and knowing how the Yankees are, they're kind of like bougie. They didn't want, he didn't want the captain, or the team didn't want the captain, Derek Jeter, the poster boy at baseball for New York. They didn't want him to be exposed, so he used to make him sign an affidavit that they wouldn't reveal anything. As a matter of fact, if you went to his house, you have to leave your cell phone at the front door. It will get locked up in a safe and all that. That's the
Jeffrey
story.
Epstein over there, something like that.
No, the Derek Jeter just didn't want, his stuff out there, like no
Controversy,
public.
right?
Yeah, no controversy. Because
Oh.
remember, he's in New York. He plays for the number 1 sports team in the world, the Yankees, right? The most famous sports team, and he knew how strict George Steinberg was. So, he didn't really want to have anything out there in the public. So that was the case. But yeah, man. But enough of famous people. Let's talk about. Well, we are going to talk about famous people today, but let's get away from the celebrity gossip. Let's talk about professional sports restarting during COVID-19. And today we're going to start off with the MLB. The MLB was the first professional sport to announce their return to playing sports. And what do you guys think about that so far? You think the MLB has done a good job? They're in spring training right now, and they're supposed to
Well,
start
first of all,
31st.
I just want to tell you that I'm COVID-19 ready, baby.
You came with
COVID-19
the
ready,
rap.
baby.
That was a
I'm
surprise that you had for me.
COVID-19 ready, baby.
Jesus,
I
man,
ordered this.
yo,
I ordered this 3 months ago. Got it yesterday.
you've been saving that shit. Oh no, you
So
just got it yesterday.
I had to save it.
Oh man,
So
I don't even know why he got it on. I was thinking,
I'm COVID-19 ready, baby. Listen,
well,
man, 60 games, anything can happen.
yo, anything
You know
you're
what I'm
right.
saying? Anything can happen.
You're right. Anything can happen.
see, you guys gonna win
But
the World
if
Series?
if you look at it, right? If you look at it, right, baseball's 162 games. So it's
Yeah,
essentially 4 seasons literally in one. So you have
yeah,
momentums that change so much. Now, teams, once they get to this point, which is after the All-Star game, that's when they start tinkering with the rosters, seeing where their holes are, seeing what they can do to improve. And then add the bats, add the arms. So that way, once they hit September, then they get the roster bumps. Then they start resting their main hitters for that stretch run in October. You don't have that now. So essentially, you just have one of those seasons in 60 games. Think about it though. In 1998, the Yankees started off 1-4 and ended up setting a record. The Mets last year, after the All-Star game, literally won. I think it was like 20 of 25. Like
Yeah,
they went on a ridiculous run.
yeah.
And the Nationals had a terrible record. I think in the middle of the season, ended up winning the World Series. You don't have that this year. There is no marathon. There is no time to sit there and say, all right, you know what? We got enough time. We can put it together. No, it's once it starts, it's on. That's it. It's on 100%. It's playoff atmosphere.
It's on like Donkey Kong, man.
So it's gonna be interesting to see
yeah. It is.
how 60 games really plays out, and it benefits, it benefits the best teams more than anything else.
My question is, where are they gonna play at? They can't play. Like, are they gonna do what basketball is doing in one stadium? Because if you really look
I think
at
they're
it,
in bubbles, right?
Well, let's bring up the official source from the MLB.com. Enough, the best information is gonna come straight from them, right? So let's pull up this for our viewers and listeners here. That's us again, right there. So this is from the MLB.com. So basically, we move this around so that we can see a little bit better. The Major League Baseball has officially announced a plan to return to play. Players reporting for training on July 1st, leading up to a 60-game regular season schedule that begins on July 23rd and the 24th. The decision was made unanimously by the vote of 30 MLB clubs under the terms of March 26 agreement struck by the league and the MLB's Player Association that came after spring training camps were shut down, right? So let's go a little bit further into it here. The MLB has submitted a 60-game regular season schedule for review by the Player Association. That's when they threw it out there. The Player Association came in agreement with them because at the beginning, remember, they had a little bit of a disagreement because the MLB has guaranteed contracts, but because of the pandemic, they were trying to prorate the players, right? Because they were trying to prorate their salary, and the MLB Player Association wasn't with it. So the schedule would include 10 games for each team against its 4 division opponents, along with 20 games against the opposite league's corresponding geographical division. So, for example, the American League East will play the National League East, and so on. So, for those that know how baseball works, that's basically how they're planning on doing it.
It's going to be a bubble. It's just each division is playing each other. So the AL East, NL East is going to stay in the same area. They're not going to leave. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah. So basically, this is how they started with spring training. Was teams will be allowed to invite 60 players to a big league camp, with only those players eligible to play during the season. Each team's 60-man list must be submitted by that Sunday afternoon before they start, and they will have the ability to send 20 players who are not on the 40-man roster to an alternative site, whichever that is. And both leagues are going to be using a designated hitter rule, which is great because the National League doesn't have that traditionally, but now they're making it like even in that sense, right?
Both leagues are gonna have the DH.
So teams will open up with a season with a 30-man roster. It will be reduced to 28 players after 2 weeks, and then 26 after 4 weeks. The trade deadline will be August 31st. To be eligible for the postseason, a player must be added to the Major League roster by September 15. Teams will be permitted to carry up to 3 taxi squad players on the road during the season. So if a team carries 3 such players, one must be a catcher. So I'm guessing they can have like 3 players on the farm list, right? That's what it means. I'm assuming. I'm not too sure.
Because they're not having minor league, right?
Yeah, they're having spring training. There's spring training right now going on.
They don't have like the minor leagues, like AAA, like stuff like that. You know how they call players up if they get injuries? Are they still having that? No.
They're gonna be able to have 3 players on that taxi squad player list. Since the season is so short. But one of them has to be a catcher out of the 3, right? So I'm saying maybe a position like a pitcher, a catcher, and then maybe an outfielder, infielder, whatever the case is, a regular player. So
that's to me, that's gonna be pretty interesting to me. Like in the 60-game season, and like one of their star players get hurt, and say for instance he's out for a whole month, that's gonna affect the team when you look at it.
Yeah, absolutely, it will affect the team. And during the extra inning games in the regular season, each half inning will begin with a runner on second base. The batter who made the final out in the previous inning or pinch runner for that batter will be that runner. There will be a 10-day injury list for both pitchers and hitters. Through the 60-day IL will be reduced to a 45 IL, which is an injury list. That's what it means. IL means injury list. And the only reason why we're going through this, reading it, because we do have our podcast on audio platforms, which they don't get the opportunity to see this article that we're pulling up. This is mostly the article that we're putting up. Our YouTube viewers are able to see it, but not our audio listeners. But we have to be mindful. So that's why we're going to go through it so that our listeners can understand what's going on. There will be a separate injury list for players who either test positive or have symptoms confirmed exposure to COVID-19. There's no maximum or minimum days for this injury list. Wow, that's crazy. So there's no maximum minimum days for that injury list for COVID-19 positive players during the season if one of them wants to get infected. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, makes sense. It's gonna be a 2-week thing anyway. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess they're leaving it open. They're leaving it open because you don't know how fast somebody can recover, right? Or how long.
Yeah.
So that's the reason for that.
Yeah.
The MLB's transaction freeze, which has been in place since the season was suspended, will end on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So whatever that means, the transition freeze, I'm not sure what that means. Our listeners and our viewers can probably look that stuff up on their own on MLB.com. In addition to the COVID-19 testing every other day, so every other day they're going to get tested, right? Some other health precautions are as follows. Team personnel and players not likely to participate in the game. For example, the next day starting pitcher will be sitting in the stands or another area designated by the club at least 6 feet apart. Non-playing personnel will wear a mask in the dugout and in bullpens at all times. No spitting or chewing tobacco Gum is permitted. No celebratory contact, high fives, fist bumps, and hugs.
Yo, that's gonna be very interesting.
Yeah.
With the
That's gonna be crazy because that's like the whole.
That's what they always do.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
And you know that's how you amp up your teammate when he does a good play. You slap him in the ass. You know, pause. That's what they do in baseball. They give us a slap in the ass. Players will be paid a full prorated portion of their salary, of their 2020 salary based on games played, which will equal approximately 37% for the full season. So they ended up being kind of like prorated anyway, but not as much as the MLB intended to from the beginning when it was having issues with the MLB Players Association, right? So
I wonder how they're gonna pay those salaries if you can't have the fans in the dugout.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part.
That's the crazy part right there. But there you have it, folks. They're not really going into how the teams are gonna actually play. Are they gonna play in their arenas or whatever the case is? I know that they're not having an audience, so you're not. You know,
that to me is stupid though. You know, I think you can have, you know, semi, you know, stadiums, you know, half capacity. You can have fans in the stands. You just have to make sure that they're at least 3 or 4 seats apart, and people wear masks. It's like, yeah, if they get up from the seats, they have to mandatory wear their mask, whether they want to go to the bathroom or get concessions or whatever. I think they can still do it.
Let's see how
what I want to see.
What they say here.
No, sir. What I want to see, Chris, I want to see is, you know, when the coach, when they say, for instance, they don't like the referees call, the umpire. I mean, they don't like what they see. You know how they go to the bullpen, like with pitchers. I wonder what's going to happen then if you look at it. How they going to be able to argue with their mask off? That's what I want to see.
You think about that shit too, right? Like, you know how they go in, and sometimes the managers they get tossed and shit. Like automatically, let's say you know a manager forgets his mask and he comes running at the umpire. Umpire's gonna throw him out automatically. Like, you don't got your mask. Get out of here. Go ahead, man. That shit's over. They think I don't fucking care about my mask. That was a bullshit call, you know.
That's what I want to see. I want to see what's gonna happen with that.
Damn, they're not really going into how the games are going to be played, like you said earlier. I'm assuming that fights are strictly prohibited too. No fights. Also, the MLB has the right. The MLB has the right to relocate teams in regular season and postseason to neutral sites for health and safety reasons. So I'm assuming they're doing it in low risk states, the games. So they're gonna use the stadiums in low risk states with no audience. I'm assuming people are still gonna show up, fans to, like, you know, support their team outside the stadium wherever they're gonna play. But it's not really going into it. I mean, I guess they're probably gonna do it straight from where training camp is at, right? I mean, I don't know.
It's not really
because each team is having their own, like the Mets right now and the Yankees. They're having training camps in their stadiums.
Yeah, it says it right here. It says clubs are conducting summer camp at the ballparks in their home cities.
Yeah, so you know, and then, you know, if you think about it, let's say you got the AL East, you got the NL East. Most of those cities are pretty much together anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Boston, Philadelphia, Baltimore. The only problem I see is Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa and on the Marlins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Marlins. The Rays and the Marlins.
But I'm sure that they're gonna have. I mean, by the looks of it, the teams are gonna play in their regular stadiums. They're just gonna take precautions to make sure that the team is safe, that the personnel is safe, and they're gonna have rules in place where they get tested and, they're gonna try to prevent players from getting infected, especially when they go to these states that have high risk, like Florida.
Yeah, like Florida, yep, and Texas.
Yes. So yeah, so that's it for the MLB as far as how they're gonna conduct themselves while the MLB season, the 60 game season is played. But let's talk about the teams in general. Who do you think is coming out of the American League?
Yankees.
The Yankees, yes.
always.
Let's talk about.
This
Fellow
is
Yankee
dope for
fan,
the
what's
Yankees.
up, brother?
This is dope for the Yankees.
You know why? Because
you know why?
Because the Yankees want revenge for what the Astros did last year.
Yeah.
You know,
But
with the
they have their bullpen as their advantage. The Yankees have the best bullpen in baseball. It's tailor made for them right now. This is like the best thing for them, and their offense
and
is
the
going to
Yankees
keep
got
them
the
in the
best
games all the
offense.
time.
The Yankees got the best offense in baseball too. Keep that in mind.
Yes.
Yeah,
You think the hating Yankee fans, like those Mets fans, are gonna be like, oh, it's a 60 game season. That doesn't count.
Of course.
Well, all right. So let me ask you a
question.
question. Let me ask you a question. Then. So let's say the Mets go and win the World Series. Is there going to be an asterisk behind it? Yankee fans ain't going to do the same shit.
I'm going to give you your respect. You won it.
I would say this
Can't
one.
get mad at you.
Oh, y'all only won because it was 60 games. Fuck out of here. Yankee fans are going to.
But I would say this much. As a sports guru and a sports fan, is particularly in baseball, this is a time when the shit gets hot. You know what I'm saying? So
right now, this is where it starts.
This is where it starts. So, like Chris Ryder said earlier, the Nationals, I mean, they lost more games after the All-Star break than they won the first half of the season, and they still went to the World Series. So, I think is valid. I think it's valid if you win the World Series, whatever team wins the World Series this year, it's valid. For me, it's valid. It's still baseball, it's still sports.
Because between me and you guys, it's not their fault what happened.
Exactly.
The pandemic.
Exactly. It's the government's fault.
It's not their fault.
Well, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if you look at, so it's basically right now it's only 10 teams, because we're in New York right now, so we're gonna be concerned with what happens within the NL East and the AL East, because that's who they're playing. My question is is it going to be the best two teams and then whatever seeding goes into the wild card standings? Like, how's the playoffs going to work? I
think they're keeping the same rules, and then the NBA is a little bit different. The NBA now is a little bit different. Only 7 teams are allowed to go to the postseason.
No, it's 8, but the last seed is. Well, we'll get to the NBA because I got all that stuff. Ready to go, but I'm trying to look. I think
the MLB is keeping the same rules. The MLB, first place team in each division goes, and then they have the second, the team with the second best record in the whole league goes along with those 3 other teams, and it is a tiebreaker that they play the wild card, right? Is it?
Yeah. So basically going on the standings from last year. The top 3 teams in the AL East were the Yankees at 103, the Rays 196, and then the Red Sox 184. The Red Sox is a team that they had an off year because you always got that championship swoon. So the Red Sox is always going to be dangerous. National League, the team you guys got to really watch out is not the Nationals, the Braves. You got to be careful with the Braves because the Mets
and the Phillies. And the Phillies.
No, not really. I mean, the Phillies were a 500 team last year. We'll see because Girardi's there. We'll see. But you got to remember this. The Mets didn't make the postseason last year because they could not beat the Braves. They couldn't. They were smoking everybody else. They just couldn't beat the Braves. The Braves was just that good. And the Nationals got them. They got lucky, got hot at the right time, and they got
the best. Because they got one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. Strasburg, he's a beast.
And Puig is agreed to play with them.
They got Strasburg and they got Scherzer.
Puig, he agreed to play with them. So Puig is a big factor in the Braves being successful.
That is true though.
But you got to remember too, man. Fucking baseball, bro. This dude, it's a game of failure. You know, and
This is
there's guys that start the season off bad, and they end up fucking hitting 300 at the end of the year. Then there's guys that start off hot, and the year batting 250. They start the first 20 games batting 500, end the season at 250. That's going to be interesting. And I want to see how, and Aaron Judge right now is injured again.
Crazy.
How's that?
because
dude,
you gotta say he's bigger than his. He has a
healthy,
bigger body. He has a big body. His body's too big. He has to lose a little of that weight.
I'm interested in seeing the Mets right now. I was very confident in the team that they put together. They're if Cespedes enters into that lineup, which is going to be a DH, Mets got a dangerous fucking squad, bro. People don't understand. Conforto hit 30 homers last year on the low. JD Davis, if you played a full season, he hits 30 homers. Jeff McNeil, he hit 317. If he didn't get hurt, he probably hits 340. And you don't forget Robinson Cano. He might be old, but he still stole this. He's a steady. And before he got hurt, he was starting to heat up. And not to mention, who is the best pitcher in motherfucking baseball? Whose team is he on? Jacob motherfucking DeGrom. Cy Young winner, back to motherfucking back.
Yeah.
Okay, best pitcher in baseball. Ain't nobody better than my boy. When he first came out, and I told this shit to Nell. When he first came out, ain't nobody knew about him. There was a guy by the name of Rafael Montero who was supposed to be the better guy. He gets in there, so they both got called up. Montero goes first. DeGrom goes second. Montero got smoked. My boy came in there looking like fucking Bronson Arroyo, and he shut him down. 2-something ERA's first season.
Can I say something? It's documented you guys got one of the best ball players in the league. Your offense is suspect, and that's why you couldn't go to the players, because you paid some dude $140 million. He can't even stay on the field.
What are you talking about, bro? You have it twisted, bro. You have it backwards. It was the bullpen that was fucked up. That's what lost it for the Mets last year, was the bullpen. Their bullpen was terrible. You know how many games fucking Edwin Diaz left on the fucking field? He blew like 25 games, bro. If they even win half those blown saves, the Mets go to the World. The Mets go to the postseason.
Explain why Specialist is $140 million and can't stay on the field. Explain that.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And what about Aaron Judge? My man's hurt again.
And he
clapped your boy Mario. And he clapped your boy Tanaka.
Listen. When he was injured, listen. Last year he was injured. He came to the players, and what did he do? The Yankees, we worry about the playoffs. We don't worry about the regular season. He took us all the way to the promised land, to the Astros cheater. And the Astros is lucky that there's no fans in the stands this year, because they dodge that bullet. Everybody in every stadium, they want their heads in baseball. The Mets, Yankees, whatever team you are, they want their heads, the fans.
Luckiest fucking team in baseball, bro. Luckiest fucking team
right now, yeah, because they want their heads right now. You don't think so now? The
luckiest team in baseball. And I feel bad for your boy. He was gonna get everybody. That was not he was gonna set the record for getting hit. What's your boy's name? The
Alex Guerrero?
Shorty. Altuve. He was gonna get smoked every time he got to the plate. They were gonna hit him, bro. He's their best player. They were gonna hit him.
I always found that shit weird, man. How he was able to blast the fucking ball like that, and we found out, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna tell
how he knew the fastball.
He's a good player, but come on, bro. How the hell he knew that Chapman was coming with that change
down the pipe? Down the pipe. Yeah. How do you knew that?
Yo, bro.
Yeah. They were struggling to beat us. Now they were struggling to beat us.
About baseball,
we found out. No, but we found out how he knew that. We found out how they knew that it was cheating. There was cheating.
Hell yeah, yo. Think about it this way: 86 mile an hour fastball. By the time you say the word baseball, that ball is coming from that pitcher's hand to that catcher's mitt. 86 miles an hour.
Yeah.
The word baseball. Saying that entirely. That's what, 1 second? So imagine 104 miles an hour, which is almost 20
You got
miles
half
an
a
hour
second.
faster than that, bro.
You got half a second.
Bro, by the time the pitcher's hand is like this, you got to be swinging already. Because if you ain't swinging, you ain't catching that.
Who's that
Bro,
guy from
I
the
seen
that we got from the Marlins?
Billy
What's
Wagner.
his name? Who's that dude that we got from the Marlins? What's his name? Forgot. He had got big pay money. I forgot his name.
Yo, I seen Billy Wagner. He threw 104 miles an hour, and Barry Bonds smoked his pitch.
Yeah.
It was like a slingshot. It was so fast.
Well, that's Barry Bonds we're talking about, man.
So it's gonna be interesting.
Barry Bonds, man. Barry Bonds. I don't care if he was juicing or not, bro. I don't care if he was juicing or not.
But now, before the juice, he had over 40 home runs a year, though.
Yeah, he was 40-40. He was MVP 5 times before the whole home run thing.
The reason why he did it because he was mad that Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGwire was getting all the fame. And nobody was like, he was in the back burner. Just same thing with Ken Griffey Jr. Nobody wants to say it, but he is the greatest player I've ever saw. He's a 5'2" player. He give you anything. If he didn't get hurt, I think he would have broke the home run record.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
His defense and his offense is off the hook.
Yeah. And he can
That's what happened. That's what happened to him.
Listen, and I don't care what nobody said. Yo, I don't care what nobody said. You're not going to tell me that I'm going to give Chris Ryder a fucking syringe and steroids in his fucking butt, and all of a sudden he's going to be the best baseball player in the world. Doesn't happen like that.
Too.
You got to have,
too.
You have to have an eye. You have to have contact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All steroids really did.
Take steroids is for endurance purposes.
Yeah, it's all that ever did was make him heal faster. It's to make him heal faster. So
games. That's a lot of games.
You put steroids in that injury instead of 6 weeks. That's 3 weeks.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with like how good of a baseball player you are. Now that probably gives you a little bit. It gives you an adrenaline rush. Yeah, probably it does because it's a drug. At the end of the day, it's an enhancer. Yo, you gotta believe like the MLB, their list of like banned drugs or banned performance enhancement things is so retarded. They even have a queer team there, and that shit is, you could buy that shit in GNC over the counter. That shit is legit. Whey protein. I'm surprised they don't have whey protein as a banned substance. The fuck? I can't have a sports shake? I'm fucking suspended.
No, you can, motherfucker. You can't have a sports shake, all right?
How about insurance?
No, but the thing is that Barry Bonds is special. No matter what nobody got to say about it, he was special.
Yo, bro, outside of that season, he hit 72 home runs. He had a consistent career.
Yeah,
he hit no more than 45.
He was
that 72 homer season.
He was MVP 5 times before the whole home run thing. Before he started doing,
Yo, if you look at his stats after the 72,
30-30 club, all that shit.
Before the 72 homer season, he hit 40 something consistently. After that, he hit 40 something consistently. But even though now
every year though,
now he was routinely walked because nobody wanted to pitch to him. Yo, Barry Bonds was walked continuously. Nobody pitched to him, and he still hit 45 homers.
Yeah, so that takes skills.
Remember he hit the ball when they threw a ball at him, and he hit that one out the park because he was pissed off. That was funny.
But I heard a lot of rumors about Barry Bonds. The reason why he took steroids was because he was jealous of Griffey.
Yeah,
because he felt like Griffey was the better. Everybody gave Griffey the glory, and he's over here smoking everything. And this guy Griffey is, he's flashier. He's more, swaggerific.
Griffey was a 5'2" player though.
Griffey's one of my favorite baseball players of all time.
I'm a Mets fan for
life. But you know who's my favorite baseball player of all time? You know?
So Ken Griffey.
Mr. 51. Who's 51? Who wore Roger 51, Maris? Baby?
Roger Maris?
No, 51, baby. Not Roger Maris. Roger Maris, I think, wore number 6. 51. Who wore 51? I'm gonna let you guys think about that for a second. Who wore 51?
I don't know who's 51 here. If you work crazy, I don't know. He's probably a bum.
51?
Yeah.
They always talk shit about the core 4, but there was always a core 5. Who was the 5th one? Who was the core 4? Pettit. It was Pettit, Jeter, Mariano
Bernie
Rivera
Williams.
and Jorge
Oh,
Posada.
Bernie Williams.
Fifth one
Bernie
was
Williams.
Bernie Williams, and he don't
Bernie
get the
Williams.
credit that he deserves. That he was the
He
fifth
doesn't.
guy. It was always the five guys.
He doesn't, and
Tito
You know,
Martinez too.
yeah, he has a lot of the all-time postseason records too.
it was a beast. Yo, I think his average was like 300.
Tito Martinez was a beast too.
Yeah, Tito
But
Martinez.
Bernie Williams was a beast, bro. It's my favorite
that's
player
it.
ever.
Yeah, man. To all y'all Mets fan out there, y'all heard it, man. Chris Fighter likes a Yankee player more than any other Met player that ever lived.
Dude, when I was a kid, I used to go to Yankee Stadium, and I used to hate. I always want the Yankees to lose, but I always used to want Bernie Williams to smoke it every time.
But let me ask you a question though. If he's saying all this, that means he was once upon a time a Yankees fan.
Shit.
How can you switch sides?
I was always, Bernie Williams was just always my favorite player. I liked how he was. You know what it was? Because he was Puerto Rican. You know, and as a 10-year-old kid living in New York, you see this guy who's dark skinned, Puerto Rican, and is a really good player. That was a role model, for me.
My favorite was Ken Griffey Jr.
Being a young Puerto Rican kid and living in Spanish Harlem at the time, 10, 11 years old, you're seeing this guy, playing well. That was what's it for me. Honestly, think about it now. That's really what made me such a fan of Bernie was because he was Puerto Rican.
Yo, a quick fact, real quick. A quick fact before Barry Bonds went on that, that home run thing. He had like I said earlier, 5 MVPs, 8 Golden Gloves, bro. Come on, bro. Like this guy was already killing it, bro. All that shit.
He was already a Hall of Famer before that.
Yeah, man. And he's always
why not put him in the Hall of Fame for?
Base on ball leader 12 times.
So
base
what?
on ball leader.
Steroids, bro. No, if you have a chance, put up Mark McGwire's numbers compared to Barry Bonds' numbers. There's no comparison there.
Yeah, and you know what? That was part of the culture and the MLB. That the MLB officials knew that everybody was taking it, bro. That was bullshit. They needed the fans. They needed the ratings. They needed people to tune into baseball. Baseball was a dying sport because basketball and football were making it happen. The Jordan era fucked up Major League Baseball.
Jordan fucked everybody up, though. Yeah, Jordan fucked everybody up.
How else were they supposed to get good ratings? Have these fucking monster guys fucking slap the shit out the ball all the time, But listen, let's move on. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But what was it? The McGwire and Sosa was 97, 98, right? That whole thing went down between the two of them when they were racing.
Yeah.
Back to back.
It was the one season. I think it was like 97 or 98 around there. Coincidence that was Jordan's last season.
I know, right? What a coincidence.
What coincidence,
I'm telling you, like the NBA became the most popular sport, bro. In the as far as American professional sports in the world, it became the most popular sport, and it was because of Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. And that took the limelight away from baseball, which is America's pastime. And in the United States, football is the most popular sport. It took it away from football.
But what catapulted football into that stance? Who was very much the reason for that? Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
They were the reason why NFL is the way it is right now. And it's interesting to see how long the NFL is going to be
Drew Brees.
once Tom Brady retires. Drew Brees is a great quarterback. But
he's in that category with them though.
He's the MJ, bro. He's the MJ. He's the MJ. Everybody wants the Patriots to lose. But you got Pat Mahomes now, so we'll see. We'll get into football towards the end of the podcast, but
we get into that. That's today's discussion.
So listen, man, let's move on to the NBA. Chris Ryder, let's talk about the NBA facts. You pull them up there. Are you able to share your screen? Did you have the option, right? I'll let you.
You still got it disabled.
Yeah, really? No, it says here. How about now?
What's so funny before you get into the NBA? What was so funny about them when you get into it is that Damian Lillard is so much of a G. He literally came out and said, "I'm not playing if I don't have a chance to go to the playoffs." Because they wanted to resume the season back, but the first, like you said, how there's 8 teams, the 8th seed, the 1 through 8 goes to the playoffs. Yeah. He wasn't a 9th seed. He was still fighting for the 8th seed. It's funny how he came out and said, "I'm not going to play if
Yeah.
I don't have a chance to go to the playoffs. So, but Chris, we can get to what you're doing.
Yeah, no,
So
and
basically the way the Orlando bubble is working is it's basically just playoff seeding. That's all it is for. It's just playoff seeding. So basically, all the teams that were not going to make the playoffs were eliminated out of it. So that's why you don't see the Knicks. That's why you don't see the and it's crazy that the fucking Golden State Warriors, who were the best team in the league last year, were eliminated. But they're probably going to be the quickest team to go from last to first, because you got Steph Curry, you got Klay Thompson. This is the best thing that happened to them because they can get their guys healthy, go into the draft, get a high
you
draft
also
pick.
forgetting they got Clay, Draymond, they got Andrew Wiggins, and they got
So we'll see.
Steph.
You can't count them out. But basically that's the way So if you see here, I got it from ESPN.com. It's basically, it says each team will play 8 seeding games to determine the playoff matchups and initiate a potential play-in series for the number 8 seed in each series, each conference. If the number 9 seed finishes within the 4 games of the 8 seed, there will be a play-in tournament in which the 9 seed will need to beat the 8 seed twice to earn the playoff berth, while the number 8 seed would need 1 win from the 2 potential games. Given the uneven number of games played, the NBA will use win percentage as an initial tiebreaker. Here are the standings heading into the restart. So, no coincidence, Milwaukee Bucks, number 1, 53-12. Toronto Raptors, number 2, 46-18. Boston Celtics, 43-21. Miami Heat, 41-24. Indiana, 39-26. Philadelphia, 39-26. Brooklyn Nets, 30-34. Orlando, 30-35. And the Washington Wizards, which is going to be the most interesting, which is 24-40. Now, Eastern Conference on the West side, which is, I'm sorry, not the Eastern Conference, but the Western Conference, because they have a typo on.
They got a typo there. ESPN, what's going on?
What's going on?
We're gonna submit a resume. We're gonna submit a resume. See if Chris Ryder gets that job right there. You always.
I'll be a writer. I would be a beautiful thing, baby.
Yo, Josh,
this guy, Max Kellerman.
Yo, Josh, this guy is the grammar police, bro. Like,
I'm a writer. That's why I gotta be grammar police, motherfucker.
One day I send a thank you email to a guest that came on, and it was like one fucking typo. He was like, "Oh, that shit sounds retarded" or something like that. He was like, "Oh, you got an error there."
No, I didn't say that. No, I'm professional with that shit. No, I said it is a typo. Here's a mistake. It doesn't sound too well. And then he was
what
like,
I said, you know what? So why don't you become our email?
Send emails from now on.
Why don't you become our email correspondent there, guy?
Anyways, so getting back to it. So now,
real quick before you continue, the West Coast has 4 more teams than the East Coast.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's what the same too now.
They're always the best.
No, that's
so
crazy.
We're gonna get into it right now. So, I like to bust balls and chops. Fucking Los Angeles Lakers, led by the Bummington LeBron King Faker James, number 23. I'm just kidding. I actually respect LeBron. I think he did what he needed to do. His redemption in Cleveland gave him the title. He's like, listen, I gave y'all the title. Y'all can leave me alone. A lot of people don't know that LeBron's move to Los Angeles was based on his son. He wanted to give his son the best opportunity to make it to the pros. And Los Angeles has the best basketball program, I think, in the nation, right?
Yeah, and not only that, not only that, LeBron James has a big interest in Hollywood. He has a lot of money invested in movie production and stuff like that. And then
the financial show
like that. Yeah. So it's a combination of both, but I would say that it was mostly for his son. You're right.
Yeah, it was.
And because he wanted to kind of like steal Kobe's legacy, but we're not gonna get off. We're not.
He didn't want to steal Kobe's legacy.
I don't think he's interested. Nobody
can ever steal that.
You get onto the Clippers for that, then.
Unfortunately, now they can never steal it because he's a martyr now. He's immortal.
He's a martyr. He's an immortal. He's infinite.
It's funny that Kobe
bigger.
Kobe even in his death showed LeBron that he's better than him. because the day before he passed away, LeBron had passed him in the scoring list of all time, right? And boom, the next day he's like, "Well, now that you passed me, I'm gonna show you that I'm still better than you because I'm immortalized." And he killed, he died, unfortunately.
So, anyways, Los Angeles Lakers,
Look at these Kobe Bean Bryant though.
And they named the virus after him, COVID-19. That's all the same. That's all the same.
You really guys know you're a big Kobe fan, aren't you?
I am. That's my favorite player of all time.
Yo, I was so concerned with a lot of Kobe fans. I wanted to call them to like, you guys are right. You're not gonna try and do something stupid to yourself.
First of all, you wouldn't understand how we feel because you're a Tracy fan. But that's the end of the discussion. You keep going.
We'll talk about that later. Anyways, LA Clippers 44-20, Denver Nuggets 43-22, Utah 41-23, Oklahoma. Interesting about Oklahoma is that they lost all their players and they still smoking them. They still they playing well, Chris. And they kind of tight Oklahoma. You know how many draft picks they got? They got like two number ones for like the next 3 years.
Chris, they got the top three.
They tight Oklahoma because they're like, fuck,
They got one of the best defenses in the league, right? In the NBA, though.
Yeah, and they got they shooting guard that they got from I think the Rockets was
the Clippers.
From the Clippers.
The Clippers
pretty good.
Was good.
20.
He was good.
They kind of remind me. They kind of remind me when the Golden State Warriors were building their team up from scratch.
Yeah, and it's crazy because they're kind of tight in Oklahoma because they're like, we're gonna tank for a few years. Chris Paul got them playing well, bro. They kind of tight because they got a lot of draft picks, bro.
But Chris, but you're forgetting the guy that they traded for, that they got from the Clippers. That dude actually was destroying the Warriors in that playoff series. Like he was really spazzing on them. Like he really had he dropped like 20 points a game. He's a very young talent. They have mad young talent players over there, and Chris Paul is making them grow.
And remember, they got one of the best facilitators to ever play the game, Chris Paul, and they got El Gallo, Danilo Gallinari over there. You know what I'm saying? He's still popping. I don't care what nobody says.
Steve Adams
playing good too, man. He's playing. I think it's probably his best.
Steve Adams, and you don't forget Steve Adams. Steve Adams is the beast.
He's a consistent presence in the middle. So interesting. Houston Rockets number 6, 40-24. No Russell Westbrook. COVID-19 positive. We'll see.
Yeah, for 2 weeks he won't play, right?
Because that's been what's his name? Fuck. I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't believe it.
Well, they got the best scorer still. Harden.
Yeah, but that's been his biggest issue.
Him and the Greek Freak are the best scorers in the league right now.
But that's been his MO. He hasn't been able to carry them to where they needed to be.
Now, hold on, Christopher. Now, you talk about in terms of this year, or you talking about in general?
James Harden's been holding down.
James Harden hasn't been able to do shit.
The points per game.
None of them can. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say this. None of those two dudes can lace Kevin Durant's ability to score. None of them. Kevin Durant is an animal at scoring.
Yeah,
he can drop 50 in his sleep.
Because James Harden gets a lot of his points from the free throw too.
He does because he knows how to get to the foul line. I ain't gonna hold you.
He learned from Jordan.
This dude has
from Jordan. That's a Jordan shit.
He's very crafty. He's very crafty.
He has a water bed on the fucking free throw line. He sleeps there.
No, that's Jordan. That's all Jordan. That's what Jordan used to do all the time. And later in his career, he lived at the foul line because he knew he wasn't the same fucking athletic monster that he was before. He had to alternate his game, and he lived in the free throw. He was crafty.
But Jordan really used to get hacked though, because back in the days, that it was tougher. He used to really get hacked. Even in the late 90s, that shit was so crazy.
That's why
he even said it. He said on this documentary, he said, I'm an old, my last season, I felt like my game was complete.
Yeah.
Because I went through everything, been through everything.
Oh, this is my game. A real quick fact. Chris Wright is the only person I know that drinks dark rum with orange juice. Shit is nasty as fuck. Bro. I said it's nasty as fuck.
Christian Valencia. Christian. He introduced me to that shit, and that shit is the best. I call it the black and fucking yellow.
Come on,
Anyways, moving on.
You let an Ecuadorian tell you how drinks taste. Come on, you gotta be kidding me, bro.
It's all right.
Nothing against
It's
Ecuadorians.
good to me. Ain't good. You drinking it? You drinking it? No.
I love Ecuadorians. Nothing against Ecuadorians, but they don't know about.
But you know, you ain't drinking it though. Is you drinking it? I'm drinking it, baby. Look, we drinking it, baby. We drinking it, baby. We drinking it, baby.
But if you want to talk about crafty players, Dwayne Wade was a very crafty player too at his time.
I bet. Yo, he was as close to Jordan's game going to the hole as there ever was. Even more so than Kobe.
And does he lead in no balls and blocks? Shot.
But D Wade just going to that hole. There was nobody better
that could stop him
during his era at going to the hole than D Wade.
They call him Flash for a reason. He was mad quick.
Yeah, he was.
I mean,
he's got the best.
He didn't earn that name. So.
That's a lot of
Dallas
teams
Mavericks,
in the West.
Number 7, number 8.
Mr. Orange Juice Drinker here. Continue.
Number 8 Memphis Grizzlies, 32-33. Number 9 Portland Trailblazers. Interesting with Carmelo. You see what they do with Melo being back in the fold. I was happy my boy got back in the game, man. He was killing it though, man. He's got 16, 17. He ain't the number 1 guy no more, but he's a consistent number 2, number 3 guy.
Now you see why Damian Lillard was mad when he said his statement.
Yeah,
he's not playing. If he look at it, he can go to the playoffs. If look, it's right there.
But he's got a chance though. They got to win out. They got to win at least 5 of the 8 games.
They're healthy now. They got all, bro.
You see,
they got their center back from last year. They got hurt. Remember that bad injury he had with his leg went behind his back of his head. They got him back.
Yeah. We'll see. Interesting note though, the number 10 seed in the West, the New Orleans Pelicans, which probably has arguably the deepest team in the NBA, bro.
Yeah,
from top to bottom, the deepest team. And they're on a roll right now. They were on a roll before everything happened. So
they got Lonzo, they got Zion, they got Josh Hart. They have this dude.
They got Lonzo. They got Julius Randle. I mean, they got.
Yeah, I've been seeing little highlights of.
Yeah, I know. They've been wilding. Practice.
So we got number 11.
Zion practicing, bro. He look like.
Zion, and you got Zion, man. And the Pelicans got a lot of draft picks too.
He lost a lot of weight because one of the biggest concerns was that he's too big to move around, and eventually.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
He's young right now, but 4 or 5 years into the league, he might suffer a lot of knee problems and ankle problems.
Because he's so powerful going to the hole.
And because he's
like LeBron.
And because he weights a lot, like LeBron, he weights a lot, but LeBron he probably has the 2% body fat on him, bro.
Yeah, that's why he's been durable. That's the problem with Zion is he's as powerful as LeBron. With fucking the big baby Davis body. Remember baby Davis?
But did you guys hear what Vince Carter told him? Did you guys hear what Vince Carter told Zion? He said you have so much potential, but if you don't lose that weight, you're gonna be out of this league in 2 years. He told him like that because his weight.
His weight, bro. Yo, listen. I'm a fat nigga too, bro. When I stand up too long, I walk around and do my 20,000 steps a day. When I come home, my ankles be shot because I'm overweight. And my knees be shot. I wake up the next day like, what the fuck happened? Like I just got beat up.
Can you imagine him? He's like can you imagine how he feels at the game?
Yeah. And that's just me. Yeah, that's just me walking. Imagine a big guy like that running up and down the court, playing 35 minutes a game. That shit takes a toll on you, bro.
And the way he plays physical.
So
he plays real physical.
The last two teams, it's the Sacramento Kings, San Antonio Spurs, and the Phoenix Suns. Which is interesting to me.
I don't know why they added those three teams, bro. I don't know why they added those 3 teams. Tell you the truth, I don't know.
I mean, what's crazy?
Because the record for the last 5 teams there, the Trailblazers, the Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, and Suns, they're too close together.
They're all right there.
Yeah, all right there. That's
all right there.
Why. That's the reason why, because they wanted to make it fair.
But it's interesting. It's interesting to see that this might be the end of the Spurs.
You think so?
This might be the end of the Spurs, bro. 27-36 for the Spurs. This might be the end of the Spurs, as we know.
Yeah, but they had injuries, Chris.
and they're in a
Well,
rebuilding
Brooklyn had
process.
an injury.
They were supposed to bridge the gap between Tim Duncan and Kawhi Leonard, and Kawhi he fucking did what he did. You know, because if you look at it, the Lakers were always able to stay on top because the bridge between Magic and Kobe wasn't that long. The bridge between Magic and Shaq wasn't that big. You know, it was literally like 3, 4, maybe 5 years. And then from Kobe to LeBron wasn't that long. Spurs don't have that gap. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how they draft, and we'll see if Greg Pop stays there.
If LeBron didn't get hurt last year, he taken that Lakers team to the playoffs. Before he got hurt,
nah,
he was
LeBron. I know LeBron's your boy, but LeBron's body was just he just needed the rest, bro. You know that, and you know that he wasn't the same.
But like I said before,
this year. The player that he is this year is a refreshed LeBron. He was tired last year, and you saw his body just break.
No, but didn't you say? But I remember this day in the car. Didn't you say? I remember this quote. Do not sit there and lie for the cameras. I remember this quote you said to me. You said in the car to me when they didn't go to the playoffs. You said this is the end of an era for him. No more LeBron. And look at him now. What I told you is different.
What else did I tell you? What else did I tell you?
He was burned out. He was, bro, 8 finals straight. That's a lot.
LeBron was burned out. He played more games than any player in the game for the last 6 years.
He played the Olympics too.
And the Olympics. So that boy's body was done. And he needed the break. He was essentially off literally almost 6 to 7 months of no basketball. That's a lot.
And then this rush now that he just got recently, it's gonna be scary.
It's gonna be a beast. So those were the records for the NBA teams heading into the bubble. We'll get to that.
Who think it's MVP?
I just want to finish this off real quick and then we'll go into that. So the Wizards will be 5.5 games back of the Magic, giving Washington a chance to make up the 1.5 difference and force a play-in for the number 8 seed. A play-in likely in the West with the Grizzlies holding a 3.5 game on multiple contenders. So, it's interesting to see what's going to happen within this bubble. And, I think it's going to be it's going to be good to have sports back, man. I feel like that's something that we've been missing. I don't think it's going to be the quality of the game is going to be quite as well.
One thing that will change is going to stop guys from cheating on their baby mothers. There's been a lot of shit going on during quarantine.
Yo, and right now they can't leave the bubble. They can't leave the bubble.
Look, Chris, real quick, look. This is a real drink here. This is Buffalo Trace, which is a whiskey with coconut water, fucker.
Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Anyways, so we were just talking about LeBron James and about last year, Nelson. I don't know if you was hearing it, but the fact of the matter is that LeBron's body broke down last year. And he rubbed a lot of the young guys the wrong way.
You mean, right?
Yeah, last year. Yeah. Last season. Not this season, last season. His body broke down on him. This man played more games. Remember, he went to the finals 6 straight years. They're playing essentially, 86, 90, 94, 98. You playing at least a minimum 98 games. Not to mention, you might add another 5, 6, maybe 7 games to that. So he's playing essentially over 100 games a season for 6 straight years.
That's crazy.
6 straight years and not playing 30 minutes. He's playing 35, 37, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Sometimes probably, he's probably taking a rest for 2 minutes. And then that's it. Like when Jordan in 98, when he played, he took a rest for 2 minutes? He just took the rest at the end of the first quarter, and then he played the rest of the game.
Sorry to cut
That's a lot of minutes, bro, on the body.
You also forgot that when he took the Cavs to the finals, that Game 7, he played the whole game.
So that's a lot, and that body broke down.
The Warriors.
Then I saw him like the scariest thing.
The Warriors had
the scariest thing.
That whole rivalry with him and the whole rivalry with the Cavaliers and the Warriors that took a toll on him, bro. Imagine.
That's because they were
them too. The Warriors too.
Yeah, but
two of those playoff series, he literally had to take them on his back.
But Steph Curry, Thompson, and Green, they're younger than Durant took a beating too, because Durant is about him and LeBron in the same age bracket.
Yeah,
but these guys are younger. These guys are younger. They can take an ass whipping and recover.
But if you think about it, those two playoff series, bro. He had to literally take the team on his back. Because remember, the first playoff series, he lost Kyrie and he lost Kevin Love. So then imagine if those two played during that series, the Cavs win that.
How about the year that the Cavaliers won? The Warriors lost Bogut and fucking this guy, Draymond Green. So let's talk about that too, bro.
That was only one game. Though.
No, they lost it towards the last 3 games of the series. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but Bogut got out. But Bogut wasn't a factor. Green only got suspended.
What are you talking about? They had no presence in the paint. That the Cavaliers were killing them because they had a lot of big guys that can rebound.
No, the Warriors messed up when Draymond Green said to LeBron. That tickled a sleeping dog.
That triggered them, bro.
You seen when Lance Stevenson did it to him when he was in Miami, when he was talking shit to LeBron. You saw how they struck him like 4-0. You never do that to people like Michael, Kobe, and Braun. Because when you talk to them like that, like look at the Patrick Beverly situation with Kevin Durant last year. He was talking crazy to him. And look what happened. 51, like nothing. You don't talk to players like that. Like great players like that, you don't ever disrespect them, bro. Because once you disrespect them, look at Kobe. Kobe's one of them too. So remember, who's that dude when he was in the playoff series? I guess against Orlando. Remember that shooting guy? I don't know his name. He said something to Kobe, and that just triggered him. You don't do that. That's great play. You don't do that to great players.
Out of
LeBron shown that.
Out of those 3 players that you mentioned, the worst one to say that to was Jordan. That was like war for him, bro.
Yeah. That was war. Yeah.
But I was looking at like they have YouTube series where they talk about different sports, and they were talking about they talked about like 10 times where like LeBron James actually went for somebody's head, and one of them was the fucking against the Warriors, and he went hard against the fucking Wizards, bro. Smoked them, destroyed them. Boston was personal for him. That shit was personal for him. He wanted to really whoop their fucking ass.
Yo, Kevin
and
Garnett.
Toronto talked hella shit, and he made sure that Toronto was his personal whooping fucking boy.
They don't call Toronto no more. They call Toronto LeBronto. You heard they call Toronto LeBronto.
Yo, son, it's no coincidence that the Toronto Raptors won the finals the year LeBron wasn't in the East, bro.
That's crazy. Yeah. You know what? You know what bothered me about that? And shout out to Leonard, man, because he's a great player, bro. But you cannot take the throne away from the best player in the league until he starts downward spiral. And LeBron is still, he's still a dominant force in the league.
Freak of nature, bro.
He's still the best player in the league. Just because he did it, just because he got a little injury and his team didn't make it to the playoffs, they're not giving people the right to call Leonard the new king of basketball. I don't care, whatever. And I'm not a LeBron fan.
Bro.
I'm not a LeBron fan. But
what year is this?
I'm not a LeBron fan, but I respect him, bro. He still is the best player in the NBA. It wasn't until Kobe started declining statistically that then LeBron was given the best player title. LeBron has never declined statistically his whole career. So for them to give it to Leonard last year, that shit had me fucking tight. And I was on a rant. I was like, listen, LeBron is still the best player in the NBA, in the world. He hasn't
That's
declined.
motivation right now for him this year.
Yeah, now Leonard did.
Bro,
Listen, Leonard accomplished beautiful feats. They were wonderful.
Yeah.
Disney World type shit, nigga. He did crazy shit, right?
Thank you.
But
now,
well, wait. LeBron was still the best player in the NBA, bro. He's still the king. There's no denying.
This is what I wanted. This is what I like. This is what I tell people. Like, it's not with him, with LeBron, it's my favorite player. I know his tendencies. When the first half of the season, he just goes out there and plays. When after the All-Star break, then that's why I like to talk to people. Like my little brother, the Giannis fan, he was like, "Oh, he beat him." Da, 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 da. I said, "Bro, you didn't beat him after the All-Star game. Look what he did the last 2 games. He beat the 2 best teams in the league, back to back. He beat the Bucks and he beat the Clippers back to back before the season went to lockdown. That should tell you a statement. He doesn't try. He tries when it's the play. That's what I like about him, Kobe, and Michael. They do not try until after the All-Star break, and it shows in his game. They take it to the next level.
But Josh, let me ask you this: what year is LeBron in right now? What year is he in right now?
18, right? 17, around there.
17 fucking years, and my man is still smoking niggas in year 17. So imagine he could play 25 years, bro. By year 25, his stats will probably be like 15 a game. LeBron James could play 25 years. Usually this is the time they start declining. Kobe started declining around this time. That's when he caught the Achilles injury, and that was it for him. This is year 17 for LeBron, and he's still on top of the game. Nobody's better.
Thank God, bro. He's steroids, bro. That's why he's still good.
17 years, Nelson.
Look at that.
Yo, my man. You look at any great NBA player, they first 10 years, I would say they're great for 8 years. Because remember, your first 2 seasons, anybody comes in the league, you're feeling your way through. You gotta make a name for yourself. You gotta fight for your throne. Then from year 3 to year 10, you are on top of the season, top of the league, bro. After that, everybody starts declining. Magic, Bird, Barkley, anybody you see. You know, LeBron James is in year 17 and he's still on top of his game, bro. You cannot deny the greatness of that man. He is the greatest basketball player, talent-wise, to ever play the game, bro. There's nobody better. Jordan was the greatest competitor. But Jordan's the greatest talented player ever. There's no denying it. You cannot deny that. You cannot.
Bro, you heard what Magic Johnson said. Magic Johnson said that Michael Jordan is the greatest player ever. But LeBron James is the greatest all-around player ever.
The most talented player ever to play the game. So,
he must have. You see that picture right there, guys? That's his dedication to Kobe Bryant.
So now let's move on to NFL. I'm fucking talking about the Knicks. Let's talk about the NFL now. So supposedly, like training camps and stuff like that has been like put on pause.
Well, it has. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So let me
because this is usually around when training camp starts.
Keep on telling me about basketball to pull this up.
So we'll keep talking basketball. Fuck LeBron James.
Oh, I got it. My fault.
Let's go.
Say that, Josh. Fuck with you.
Fuck Jason McGrady.
JC, come out and play. All right. This is from ESPN. This is from ESPN as well. Hopefully, they don't have any typos that the grammar police might come around and shun for. Oh man, Mr. Grammar. I'm gonna call this nigga Mr. Sergeant Grammar. Fuck out of here. Anyway, so what we know about the 2020 NFL season, all training camps will be at team facilities this year. When they report, football personnel, players, coaches, equipment managers, medical staffers will largely be isolated from the remainder of the team employees. They will have a separate designated entrance to the building, practice fields, locker rooms, of athletic and medical rooms, meeting rooms, and weight rooms will all be restricted to people classified as tier one players and other people who need at least 10 minutes of daily access to restricted areas. Or tier two, people who need periodic access to restricted areas. There can be a maximum of 60 tier one um, designees, not including players, on a daily basis. So basically, they're taking the COVID-19 precautions pretty seriously there. You have to have like security clearance to get to certain parts of the practice fields, locker rooms, athletic, medical rooms, meeting rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. The NFL doing their thing there. Let's move on uh, to teams have
They
been
have to.
asked. They have to. Yeah, they have to. They have to protect. They have to protect their players. They have to protect. The franchises that are part of the NFL. Is a big money machine. The NFL is the most profitable.
Like you
I
said
believe
now earlier, like you
professional
said
sport in the
before the
United
show,
States.
like you said in the beginning of the show, the NFL is the greatest American sport.
Yeah.
So they have to.
They have to, bro. There's like so much money out there, and that now that the XFL is out,
Yeah.
they gotta grind it out because the XFL, I mean, eventually they're gonna have the same type of talent that the NFL has, and they just didn't start it. Teams have been asked to retrofit the facilities as much as possible to account for 6 feet physical distancing. Details will vary based on facility design, but in general, it will mean rearranging or expanding locker rooms in temporary areas. So they could definitely hitting the 6 feet social distancing thing real hard.
It's gonna be harder because remember, it's not like baseball that has 20 players or basketball that has 8 or 9. Football is like 40, 50 players on a team. It's a
Yeah,
lot. Not to mention how many. Not to mention each coaches is ridiculous too because you have the head coach, then you have defensive coordinator, then you got the coordinators for this teams, and then each one you have a quarterbacks coach, a running backs coach, a tight ends
A
coach,
cornerback
a
coach,
lines coach,
a
defense
cornerback
linebackers
coach.
coach, defensive line coach, corner like secondary coaches. It's like and then those guys have fucking assistants, like fucking coaches, like they fucking like almost rival the amount of players. So you got like 60, 70 people on a sideline at any given time. That's gonna be difficult.
yeah. So the league also has provided instructions on creating one-way traffic through hallways. Because if you've ever been to a football stadium, they have like a lot of little tunnels that are meant for like staff and team personnel. So I'm glad that they're doing that, creating a one-way traffic, like instructions on one-way traffic through our hallways. It has mandated individual appointments with athletic trainers and limited weight room workouts for 15 or fewer players. Virtual meetings are encouraged. In-person meetings are limited to 20 people. All players and staff must wear a mask when inside the facility. So that's another thing that they're doing that I'm not sure if the MLB and the NBA are doing. They just spoke about the staff, but not really about the players. The players here
Players are
also must wear a mask. Yeah,
players
although
are yeah,
players are
they wear
not
masks too.
all those players are not required to wear masks. They're not required to wear during workouts, which makes sense because how are you supposed to fucking breathe when you're fucking running
All
a
that,
100 yard dash?
if anybody who's ever worn a mask for more than an extended period of time, all that carbon dioxide that's fucking with your brain and shit.
Yeah. So this is football players. Sorry, but team showers must accommodate 6 feet of distancing, even if that means shutting off some of the shower heads. Saunas and steam rooms will be closed. So these guys are really doing it hard, bro. They have a
They ain't
more
trying to mess up
detailed.
them. They ain't trying to fuck up that revenue stream.
No, man. Yo, that's it. And
Billions of dollars on the line right there.
that I like the way the NFL is more like specific to how they're gonna handle this. Because we just did the NBA and the NFL, but they weren't as specific. as to what
So I
the
mean,
guidelines were.
the MLB, from what I read, from what I was reading, is that they're maintaining the 6 feet as well. So basically, all the things that you're hearing from the NFL, the MLB is doing too, and they're required to wear a mask. Everything is they're basically like kind of like in a bubble too, whereas they can't really leave the stadium like that, and they're maintaining the social distancing. So you're probably going to see in a lot of dugouts once the baseball season starts, where players are 6 feet apart and they're not on top of each other. Lockers are 6 feet apart. They have to wear a mask around each other. So
It says it right here. This arrangement will not be a bubble like the plans in motion for the NHL and the NBA. So even the NHL has like the similar NBA guidelines. By agreement between the NFL and the NFL Players Association, players will have the option to stay at a team-sponsored hotel, but will not be required to do so. They can spend their nights at home, except on the night before preseason games. That's the good thing about the NFL too. That being that the sport is such a contact sport and it's so physical, the season is not that long. So players, when they're at home, or away on the road, they don't really have to worry about accommodations as much as NBA players and MLB players, even though their season got shortened too. You see what I'm saying? Just in general, their season is shorter, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Teams must have a designated area. Oh, sorry. Continue.
there's only two preseason games this year. It's only two.
Only two, yeah. And that usually starts in August, correct? So
Yeah, training camp starts now, and usually the first preseason game is right around like
The
the
third week
beginning
of
of
August.
August. Yeah, no, the first they usually starts earlier than that, like the
so
beginning of August.
so the NFL is also um enforcing designated areas to isolate any team employee who demonstrates symptoms, just like the other leagues. So that's something that they're actually also considering, or they're not considering, but they're doing it. A systematic employee who tests positive must avoid the team facility for at least 10 days and cannot return until 72 hours have passed since symptoms has last occurred. Asymptomatic positive test must stay away for 10 days or else 5 days since the initial positive test. After two consecutive negative tests will at least 24 hours in between. So the NFL is kind of a little bit more serious with the positive testing, because the NBA was kind of like unsure, like they were like they
But no, that's kind of like the norm for anybody right now. Because like my job, in order when I had called out sick, you have to have clearance to come back. Like once you call out, if it's not like a family emergency, if it's any kind of illness related, you're out 2 weeks minimum. You can't come back without a doctor's note, and you have to be symptom free for 72 hours, and you cannot come back until you're cleared by a doctor. And that's in my job.
all right.
So that's pretty
That
much
sounds,
like
that's like the standard, you mean, like
that's
for
a
like
standard
big
practice for
companies.
anywhere. Like, yeah, you have like any company or any like job you have, if you're displaying any kind of like right now, I could just be like, fuck it, I don't want to go to work right now. If I call out, I'm out 2 weeks. Even if I'm not sick or nothing, I can't come back.
Because they it's just it deems like suspicious behavior, right, or some shit.
Because if you call out, if you call out sick, that's it.
Yeah, man. I mean,
It's over for you.
when the best butcher in town calls out, that means problems, right?
Yeah,
So
they don't have
bro.
somebody to cut the meat.
they're like, our meat
Now
cutter's not here. Fuck.
listen,
What are we gonna
you
do?
two chunky motherfuckers make good meat, bro. You guys got a lot of nice flavor.
Yo, there you go, Josh. He made a threat on live YouTube. So when
I always
something ever
threaten
happens,
Nelson, Josh. I always tell him that I'm gonna.
if something ever happens to us, this poof right here, and he'll go to jail for the rest of his life. Anyway.
Yeah, remember he's the guy. He loves all type of meat. So
but
Hey,
Josh,
yo.
he's been good. He's been good this whole podcast though. He took a while to come up with the meat jokes, bro. It took a while. Usually,
I knew you was going to come with it.
You know why?
Usually
yo,
now
Josh,
comes in
Josh.
quick.
Yeah,
Josh, you know why? You know why, Josh? Because
Yeah.
I'm a savvy. I'm a savvy like Joker, right? Like I'll wait to the perfect moment where something is like, man, like serious. We're talking about some shit, and it'll just come to me right then. I'll be like, bam, 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 and I getcha. But anyway, protocols will be enforced by unannounced inspections, and club officials who knowingly violate the policy will be subject to discipline. So they're taking this shit real serious. Early training camp practices will look different because the entire off-season program has been conducted virtually with no actual football work, and the NFL and the NFLPA have agreed that these should be a longer acclimatization process. So acclimating the players and the team officials to through virtual remote meetings, kind of establish a good social situation for them, right? No fans or visitors will be allowed at the team facilities during training camp. Teams can host up to 2 practices at a stadium with fans in the stands, providing state and local regulations allow. Okay, so see, um, shit. So they're allowed to have fans in the stands, but it has to be like, I don't know. They have to follow those local the state and local regulations, whatever that means. So because it says, wait,
But I
I'm
mean,
kind of
by the
confused.
time
I'm
this
kind of
comes
confused right
in,
here because it says no fans or visitors will be allowed at the team facilities during training camp, but then 2 practices. But they can host the 2 practices at a stadium with fans and stands, which makes no sense. So they're saying one thing, but saying something else. Does that make sense to you? Number 10. Are you guys not reading, or you just like hearing my sexy ass voice say it?
I mean, I
Doesn't make
guess
no
they
sense.
probably allow some fans in the training um facilities. Um,
Why do all this that's going on? Why they just don't come up with something that you can just check people's temperature when they come into the stadium? Because at the end of the day, you lose a revenue.
yeah, but that's something that they're trying to avoid because they don't want like large crowds to be on top of each other. So
But how
I don't know.
but how is how you supposed to supply the American people with sports if they fans and how the owners are supposed to pay their players if the fans are not there? You got people like Patrick Mahomes that's getting paid $450.
It's contracts, Josh. You got to remember, TV
Yeah, there's
contracts
contract
are
with
very
there's contracts with streaming services like Hulu, even Netflix is getting involved. I heard. I don't know how true that is, but
yeah.
Amazon.
So they're still gonna get their
Um,
money.
yeah, they're still gonna get their money. I mean, and the team jerseys, they on the they get sales
But
for
look
that.
at it this way. But it's boring for the players because they love. It's nothing like playing football and looking at the stands and seeing your fans watching you
But
cheer.
they're probably gonna work crowd noise into it though, which I heard the Mets are gonna do. The Yankees, they're gonna have like crowd noise, and they'll have like
Nah,
speakers blaring crowd noise.
they're gonna have inflatable dolls there, like, hey.
They're gonna have the butchers there too.
You like
Oh
that
yeah.
shit, huh? You fucking.
They're gonna be fucking instead of concession stands. They're gonna have a butcher there feeding meat to the players.
Of course.
Chris Ryder.
It's gonna be it's gonna be Ribeye Nelsons and New York Nelsons,
Yo, that's a good idea for like
fucking rump roasters.
that's a good idea for like a shish kebab stand, like Nelly's ribeyes, like some shit like that.
That's smart.
It is.
So we'll see. We'll see what the NFL does.
So the NFL and the NFLPA are in disagreement about preseason games. The NFL has made plans for each team to play 2 games, like Chris Ryder said, one at home and one away around the weekends of August 20th to August 24th and August 27th to the 31st. The NFLPA's Board of Players Representatives voted to endorse a plan for no games, an issue that the NFLPA president, J.C. Treader, escalated into public view this week. The NFL does not believe it needs approval of the Players Association to play games. It believes is important for 2 reasons: one, to evaluate players; two, to test and adjust game day protocols before the regular season begins. Now,
That makes sense.
I get that because they want to, it takes a lot to get these standards in motion because of state regulations. Even though the NFL officials, the actual owners of the NFL, they have political friends that make shit happen for them.
But think about how like when the shit hit the fan in New York City, like in March, like nobody knew what the fuck to do. Nobody did, and it was about a good month of feeling around and testing and seeing how everything works. You couldn't find a fucking mask. You couldn't find a mask, and there was no protocols in place. Nobody knew what anything. Fast forward to July, you can buy a mask on the corner street. Everything is fashion, kind of like what I got right here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we talking about the
You know
NFL
what
right
I'm
now.
saying?
Come on, bro.
You know what I'm
We're talking about the
saying?
NFL. We're not talking about the Mets, man.
Oh, come
But
on,
it's
man.
fashion though. What I'm saying is that PPE is more available now. Stores and places have protocols in place.
Yeah,
There's
listen.
procedures.
Honestly,
You know.
I would really want the. Hopefully, the Mets win it this year, man, because I want Chris Ryder to be a nicer butcher when he's serving meat to the customers at work. Smile a
But
lot when you.
anyways, but
I
I
don't
can
want them to
understand why the
win.
NFL wants to do that because they want to see how it's going to work. Because it's going to take those 2 games to really test out the waters and see what works, what doesn't work, what flows right, what doesn't flow right. If you don't have those 2 games, you're essentially using the first 2 regular season games that actually mean something. That's where you're doing most of that troubleshooting.
Yeah.
So I think it's smart to get out of the way for games that don't matter. So that way, once the regular season starts, it's smooth sailing. It's not bullshit. It's not fucking technical difficulties.
Yeah.
It's not fucking. And then they gotta shut down the season because they fucked up
Yeah.
Well, the
before
NFL
it
got.
even begins.
What you gotta understand is the NFL got more time than the NBA did, the baseball did, that NHL. They got more time. No matter of fact, NHL starts around the same time. NHL is part of the NBA. They start at the same time, right?
But the NHL has is the longest season of all the professional sports in America. It's 182, I think. No, 162. Right? No, that's baseball.
There's gotta be
Baseball
more.
is
Baseball's
100.
It's
supposed to be
100. It's at 181 games, I think. The NHL.
What? That's a
The
lot of
NHL,
games.
NHL always seems like it goes on forever, bro. Like that
I
shit
ain't gonna hold you.
starts like
We're not gonna talk about. We're not talking about football right now. I was gonna say something about the NHL. I want to see like
So-
when they fight each other.
But yo, let's talk about Pat Mahomes' $500 million fucking contract.
That's a lot of money.
That's
And
crazy.
Danny, did you hear what they signed Chris Jones to?
Nah.
He's getting a big contract too from the Chiefs.
That's ridiculous.
they
Like,
got-
how are they gonna have money to spend on other players though?
Hold on, let me check how much.
That's what happens when you win the Super Bowl, man. You just got money comes up the ass, bro, from endorsement deals, sponsorship.
That's a lot of money.
They still
that
got the
he's
salary
getting.
cap though. Now you got to think about. They still got the salary cap.
Yeah, but they pay taxes.
Then you
on
got to
that. They
pay like a
taxes on
big,
them.
you pay a big tax on that shit.
Yeah,
But,
they do pay a tax, but they're banking on Pat Mahomes. He's gonna be like the next Tom Brady. He might win 4 more Super Bowls in a
dude,
row.
look at what he's done over the last 3 years of his
Chris,
existence.
I know, but listen, I think Tom Brady, he's gonna go out with a bang, and he's gonna fucking prove niggas this season, and he's gonna upset a lot of teams.
Oh yeah, Jones. I just got the information right here. The Chiefs signed Jones today to a 4-year, $85 million deal.
Somebody's sharing something. Are you trying to share
shit.
something, Josh?
Nah, that was me.
I was trying to look at the. I was trying. You want me to share how much you got paid?
No, well, we can do that right after this because it's best to have one share at a time so that we don't have like multiple screens on the broadcast. Right. So let me just finish.
But he got paid a lot of money.
So let's just finish this. All right. So if there are no preseason games, they will follow the same protocol the NFL and the NFLPA has established for regular season games. Visiting teams will travel the day before the game. So visiting teams, they're actually playing in their stadiums, right? So the visiting team will travel the day before the game, which kind of makes sense. I think they already do that anyway. Who travels the same day if you gotta? Well, depends. If your city is close to the other city, stadium locker rooms must be retrofitted to ensure social distancing as much as possible. Masks for coaches and non-participating players are encouraged but not required. Teams must maintain 6 feet from each other after games, eliminating post-game handshakes and jersey swaps. I didn't even know they just swap jerseys. Yeah, look, I love you, man. I beat the shit out just to get my jersey.
Oh yeah, you can't do that no more. That was actually a problem they were having.
That's kind of like fruitcake status. I'm not sure, but 13. Most media interviews will be conducted via video conference, which is great because the NFL players hate the media, bro. Number one, because let's be honest, NFL players, and not to judge all of them, but most of them are not as educated as MLB players and NBA players, right? And NHA players too have the same issue with the media because they're kind of like it's a brute sport. So you have brute people, right, who just like love play the sport. They don't have an education like that, and that has to change. That culture has to change because a lot of NFL players end up losing it all because they don't know how to manage their money. That's a big story. We have to talk about that one day. How the different professional sports, the differences, like MLB players and NBA players, are a little bit more financially conscious with their money. Okay. Anyway, so what we don't know about the 2020 NFL system is the biggest. The biggest unanswered question is how the NFL and the NFLPA will deal with the strongly likelihood of reduced 2020 revenues, which is what Josh was talking about, because concession stands, no fans in the audience. That's a big gain for owners. A lot of their a lot of their profits come from concession stands, and you buying like the little ice cream with the sprinkles on it with the so whatever. um there have been some discussions that the NFLPA consider a proposal to put 35% of the salaries in escrow, a non-starter, but nothing close to an agreement. So they haven't really agreed on that yet. The NFL salary cap is designed to spread the gains and losses among owners and players by an agreed upon ratio. So there you go. So the salary cap, and now I understand why the Kansas City Chiefs are paying so much money, because there's a thing going on with the salary the salary cap. Um, So there's like a gain and losses amongst all owners and players that they're gonna agree upon a ratio. So this is the reason why Pat Mahomes and the other guy Jones is getting the big cash payout, because there's something going on with that, right? Look, it doesn't specify it. It's not specific here, but if you see, look, the NFL salary cap is designed to spread the gains and losses among owners and players by an agreed upon ratio. So this is the reason why all that stuff is happening. But that will lead to a big drop in cap figures for 2021. So basically, they got to be very careful what they do with these big contracts, because that could put teams that are not who don't have like a substantial powerhouse, like the Buffalo Bills, for instance. They're not a good team for the last couple of years. They don't probably have the same revenue status that the Patriots had, right? It might have a big drop for them in cap figures, right? So that's basically what it's saying right there. And the reason why we're explaining this again is like our YouTube viewers have a chance to see the articles right now because we're exposing them and we're actually sharing it. But for our listeners who come on the audio podcast, we have to explain this more, a little bit more specific, so you guys can get an understanding. Unless you telepathically connect with us, then you can understand what we're talking about. But anyway, as of now, no financial accommodation for players or other teams, employees who want to opt out the season is available. So they haven't, for players who don't want to play this, they haven't really discussed that yet. What else? Let's see what else is more important. Let's go down this list. So then Joshua can show the Pat Mahomes situation. Okay, the NFL. This is another thing that Josh brought up. The NFL and the NFLPA have been working with vendors on a face shield that will be attached to helmets that can minimize spread of virus. Okay, so that's something else. So the NFL is definitely finding players who break the agreements. The NFL will allow each team to determine its policy for allowing fans into stadiums. So that's a big difference there. So the NFL is allowing each team to determine their own policies, obviously following state and local laws, to allow fans into the stadium for games. So there you go. Not unlike the NBA.
Yeah, they just answered my question.
There you go.
That's very good for the owners. They can pay their players.
Yeah, because football stadiums take a lot of people in attendance. So I think let's say, for instance, MetLife Stadium. Let's look this up real quick.
Isn't like a ticket like it's over $100 a game?
No, but I mean like the occupancy. Oh my gosh! So all right, so MetLife Stadium takes 82,500 people. So I guess the NFL is giving the owners this allowing them to do this because the football stadiums they can hold so many people that even if you reduce it to 50%, you can still make money. But I'm sure there's gonna be a higher price on tickets.
It is probably like $200.
Yeah,
probably more.
More than that. That's already the price, bro. Try to go to a game
like
this season, bro. Yo, you pay $200 for $200 for like all the way to the top, bro. Shit.
So so imagine like you said 200. So if you said those are 200 seats from the top, right? So they're probably gonna be double that.
Double that, yeah. But football fans are crazy, man. They'll do it, bro. They'll do it. They'll do it. They'll do it. Listen, I went to a Giants game versus Dallas Cowboys, and I was literally like all the way in the top, like, and it was like $300, bro. So imagine,
that was a good experience, though.
It was a great experience because in football games, it's not all about it's all about the game, but also the pregame. So you go to the parking lot, you have the tailgates, you hang out with your friends, you have a few brewskis,
a lot of barbecues.
Yeah. So we got that. So the NFL will allow each team to determine its policies for allowing fans into stadiums for games. So I guarantee you they're gonna, because state and local guidelines will have changed several times this summer. Plans for fans remain in flux, right? So they're definitely gonna take advantage of that. The NFL is already known for high ticket pricing, and I'm sure they're gonna reduce. For instance, like we were just talking with Chris, right, stepped away, that the MetLife Stadium with the New York Jets and the Giants play holds 82,500 people. So I'm sure they reduce it to 40,000, and they have social distancing guidelines, so they can still make a quick buck, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I would do.
Yeah. So smart thing. Smart thing.
Oh, he had a clap back.
Who, me?
I thought you said, well, I got one thing to say. Like, you was like...
No, so that's a smart thing. Okay. I just can't wait for sports to start, man. For real, man. Baseball, basketball, football. I miss talking shit.
You kind of lost your, like, your energy there. What happened? You left, you came back, you kind of like down and shit. What's going on? He gave you some bad news?
I just got some daddy duties to attend to.
Oh, I thought you had like a hand-to-hand meat sale that went wrong or some shit.
Nah, it's daddy duties. All right. Trying to make sure my son gets exhausted so he sleeps.
My question is, because you're gonna understand where I'm coming from. You know how we're on the first wave still, right, of the virus.
Yeah.
The second wave is coming soon, and it's around when football starts. September, October, November, December. That's the winter time, and that virus thrives in the cold weather. What is going to happen then? That's what I want. That's what I want to know.
I mean, they're predicting that the masks are going to help with at least, I think, a percentage of keeping the virus down. So hopefully people, because this thing is people are going to be wearing masks. This thing is going to be around for, a while. I think this is going to carry into next year. It's going to be a weird normal right now. But if people are smart and they maintain, and listen,
that's the thing, though.
Then we should be fine.
Are not smart.
They're not at all.
People are not smart.
If you take the proper precautions, you can still do what you want to do. You can still live your life. But if people don't take the proper precaution, it's gonna fuck everything up. It's crazy because you want to see Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay Buccaneer, and we'll see, he's got the best receivers he's ever had outside of Randy Moss, man.
I'll tell you this though. My opinion, you guys got your opinion. If he wins this ring, he'll be the greatest ever. I'll put him in front of Joe.
But listen, the NFL lives and breathes and dies by Tom Brady, brother. He is the MJ of football right now. He is the MJ.
Right now, I don't think he's better than Joe. Joe era was way hard to play in. Bro, Joe era was way harder. Yeah, Joe Montana's era was way harder.
Even though it was harder to throw the football than that era.
Listen, let me tell you something.
He's 4-0. 4-0 and never threw an interception in the Super Bowl. Remember that. And his era was hard to play. Feat.
But also, Joe Montana, he wasn't like Tom Brady has scrubs, bro, on his team.
Yeah, you can say that, but at the end of the day, it's not about your receiving core. It's about the quarterback. The quarterback gets paid the most money in the NFL. Look at Patrick Mahomes' money. They don't win that Super Bowl ring without Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he came back in ridiculous the Super Bowl. They weren't supposed to win that Super Bowl.
No, as a matter of fact,
if it wasn't
a chance, bring up that article.
If there was nobody else who wins that Super Bowl outside of Pat Mahomes, bro, he wins that Super Bowl. And he wasn't really out of worthy as he was the previous season. Because remember, he got hurt. Remember, he got hurt. I think he came back the last part of the season, so he wasn't like ridiculous. And I think he was finally probably healthy in the Super Bowl.
That's why
he did some ridiculousness, bro, because they were losing by a lot, and he just literally won it by himself, bro. Literally.
This is his era. But remember this: if that dude Jimmy G, if that dude would have connected on that pass that dropped, that he missed, that was almost to the touchdown, they lose. Mm-hmm. They lose. But you know who I felt like needed to be in that predicament? Eli Manning, baby. He would have made that throw on target too. It would have won the Super Bowl. Baby.
You always did.
You always did.
It's sad. It's sad to see number 10 go, man. Number 10 is number 10 is
it hurt.
It hurt, man. It hurt.
But those last two games that he played, he was killing. He was really dogging. He was really destroying that. He destroyed the Eagles' defense, and I think that he played the Eagles, right? The last two games before he.
I think to me, that was all predetermined. I think he told the Giants this was going to be his last year. So they wanted. So when he told them that, I think that's when they was like, "Yo, we got to put Daniel Jones in and see what we got."
Yeah, but he learned a lot. Daniel Jones once said he learned a lot from him.
Yeah,
he took him under his wing.
If you're losing, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know what? Last home game of the season. Let's invent an injury for Daniel Jones and put Eli Manning in for 2 games.
Word.
Give him that final send-off.
Who do you think we're in the Super Bowl this year?
I mean, you can't count the Ravens out, man. I think
the Buccaneers, man.
I think Jackson's gonna have.
Hold on. The Buccaneers gotta go through Drew Brees first. Remember.
I know.
Yeah, that's Chris Ryder's favorite guy right there.
With Jackson, who? Nah, because I said that Drew Brees statistically is the better quarterback than Tom Brady, and I got fucking destroyed.
Yeah, but
the stats don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
The numbers don't lie, but then he admitted after Tom Brady won that Super Bowl that Tom Brady is the best.
Can you?
Because nobody outside of Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes comes back and beats the Eagles like they did. I mean, not the Eagles. The Falcons. Nobody comes back against the Falcons. Nobody comes back and wins that Super Bowl other than Tom Brady or Pat Mahomes.
It's because it's because of the coach. He stopped running the ball. That's your DNA. You keep doing it. The second half against the Chiefs, he stopped running the ball. The Chiefs' defense is terrible in stopping the run. They are terrible. The reason why they lost is because it's the same coach that coached the Falcons. When he was beating the Patriots' ass that Super Bowl, he stopped running the ball in the second half, and that's what cost him the title.
But like I was saying, man, don't count Jackson out, man. Don't count him out because it's like Pat Mahomes. He learned from his failures when Tom Brady was like, "Not yet, youngster, not yet." Youngster. Then last year, the Chiefs whooped their ass. No, it wasn't the Chiefs.
No, it wasn't the Chiefs. It was the Titans.
You know what? I feel like this.
Yet, youngster.
I feel like this after a Super Bowl, like those quarterbacks, like the same thing with the Falcons when they won. What's the Falcons quarterback's name? The one that Flacco, right?
Matt Ryan.
No, Matt Ryan. Flacco's the Falcons.
Ravens.
Wait, what
Matt
the hell?
Ryan.
He played for the Ravens.
The Ravens. Yeah, so all right, whatever. But the Ravens, I mean, they get these big contracts, bro, and then they flop the next season. So hopefully it doesn't happen with Pat Mahomes, because Tom Brady is
I
still
don't
a
think
force,
so, man.
bro. Tom Brady's still a
I
force.
think he's getting. I think his. If you look at if you look at his career so far, Pat Mahomes has done more in that span than most quarterbacks do in their careers, and
Well,
he's only getting
you got
better.
a point there. So what you gotta understand is that Tom Brady never took money like that before, and he deserves it more than that, dude.
he still was
Look at it, and I don't even like the dude, but he deserves it. You want to know why?
When Eli Manning got that big bread, he fucked up too. All those quarterbacks that take that big bread, they fuck up.
No, this is what happened with Eli Manning. It's the Giants' fault for giving him a weak fucking offensive line.
You sound like Darth Vader right now. Fix your signal, bro. You sound like you're talking from Luke, I am your father, bro.
Is it good now?
Yeah, sounds better now. You're like Zordon right now, like the modern Zordon. It's just your face. I can't even see your shoulders.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to tell you is the Giants fucked up those 8 years in his prime. Those 8 years, that was his prime. They didn't give him an offensive line. You give that man an offensive line, he goes to the playoffs and he wins the Super Bowl. Because to me, I've never seen a fourth quarter quarterback like him in the playoffs. Remember, he drove the ball. But Tom Brady's seen it firsthand who was better than the Super Bowl, the fourth quarter. It was Eli Manning. Eli Manning got a killer instinct.
Oh, he learned it from Manning because he didn't do that until that one joint with the Eagles.
Like Christopher said, I remember this day.
That shit. But he was even better than that before, though.
Because you remember that day when you said, when he lost to the Panthers, when he threw those 6 intos, remember that first playoff game? You came out and said next year he's going to do something. And look what happened. He has a killer instinct. Peyton Manning doesn't have that. Let's be real. Peyton doesn't have a killer instinct.
He doesn't. He's like talented naturally. Like he doesn't have like
he doesn't have
the underdog. He doesn't have that underdog strength. You know what I mean?
Like Brady got that. Brady was drafted 199, right, in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
He still used that as motivation though.
Yeah.
He still, but like you said.
And the times he's had a star wide receiver, he hasn't done shit. He's only done shit when he has a white team.
Yeah, but when he had Randy, oh my God! If he would have had Randy before Randy's prime, would have been a problem. You know how many rings that man would have had? He would have had like 10 rings. Problem.
But anyway, guys,
we got everything. Yeah, so
we got everything with the sports. Chris Ryder has to go do a hand-to-hand meat sale, so he's like worried right there. You can see it in his face. I know when he's worried about something. He came back when he went. He turned it. You seen him when he turned his camera off. He came back. He was like, he wasn't concentrated anymore.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Yeah, because his son's a pain, man. I know.
It's either the nephew or somebody did him dirty on a hand-to-hand meat sale because he sells meat out of his house now. You know that, right? In quarantine, he didn't tell you?
Because I get Josh. I got his boy one steak, and he never lets me in end of it.
Yeah, man. So somebody somebody shorter you, or somebody shorter you in the money. Let me know, bro. I'll go steal it for you.
You're gonna be my big ass fucking enforcer.
I'll be. You're Maya Lansky. I'm fucking Bugsy Siegel, nigga. Anyway, Josh, man, I want to appreciate you coming on the show, man. I love your sports knowledge. I know you got your feet wet today, and you touched up on a lot of good points. I appreciate
you did a good job.
Sports. Yeah, you did a good job. I appreciate your sports knowledge. You're definitely one of my favorite Riveras. Saying Timmy too and Chris, I love you guys, man. You guys are like a triangle brother force, like this, like rock baby. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys, and we definitely gonna want to have you on again because once sports start, we're gonna have to talk shit. Unfortunately, John Tavar couldn't be with us today. He's our co-host, the G man, right? But even if John Tavar is on, we're gonna have you on the sports because he's not really a sports guy anymore. He watches boxing though. I'm like, you're not a sports guy, but you watch boxing.
Well, we have to talk about that too, boxing.
He's a frustrated Knicks fan. I get it.
Yeah, I am too. I don't want to talk about them.
But what I was going to say was that on this show, we have a final thought. Since you're our guest today, we want to let you have the final thought. So I thought for this final thought that we would do a recap.
Don't worry about it. Nell always has tongue twisting problems. Whenever he has to do tongue twisters, he always gets fucked up.
Yeah. So my thing for this final thought, I wanted to do like your predictions for the championship for each league that we spoke about. So the MLB number one, NBA and NFL. So Chris Ryder, you want to start off?
I think the Lakers. I think it's gonna be the Lakers, hands down. LeBron James is playing at an out-of-worthy level. It all depends on how everybody comes back. It's gonna be a little bit of rust the first couple games, but I think it's gonna be the fucking It's gonna be the Lakers. For football, it's gonna be the Chiefs. I think they're gonna repeat. I think there's nobody right now better than Mahomes. They pretty much bringing back the same team. The only thing I think that could stop them is the Ravens. I think that once Jackson, he can get over that hump. I think he's gonna give the Chiefs a run for the money, and it's gonna be him, and it's gonna be Mahomes for years to come, and Deshaun Watson, a couple of times here and there. But I think it's gonna be the Chiefs. Baseball is just weird, man. I don't know. I can't predict it. I can't say Mets. I can't say Yankees. You can the Royals could win it this year. It's a 60-game season. It's essentially a quarter of a season. You don't know what could happen. A good team could. Good teams have had 60-game stretches where they've played 500 baseball. You just don't know with baseball. Baseball is such a difficult sport to predict. It's a game of failure. Even the best, even the best hitters fail 60% of the time. So baseball, I don't know.
Trying to say like the Yankees in the win, motherfucker.
I don't know. I can't even. I'm not even being biased. You just don't know with baseball. So I'm just leave my baseball predictions as undetermined. That's it.
Damn, man. So you're a fucked up Mets fan anyway. Because, all right. So
I'm a realist now. I'm a realist, motherfucker.
Like I said, I'm glad we had this sports episode because sports are very important to humans, because it's part of entertainment and we grew up around it.
We've been more serious the last month or so it's good to be more like.
Yeah, it's good, man. You're saying this is good that John Tavares took a day off. Anyway, he's probably watching these motherfuckers. My old cousin betrayed me. I know it was you, Fredo, the whole time, man. He fucking in the he's in the
smack. I'm gonna fucking kill him.
He's like, I told you not to listen to Mo Green, motherfucker.
Tell him I want him dead. Tell him I want him dead. Because he can't even he's not loyal to the family. I want him dead. I want him dead tomorrow.
He's gonna be like, I told you not to listen to Mo Green, man. Fuck that.
Yo, man. I was watching fucking Donnie Brasco yesterday, bro. Fucking.
That's a real story, though.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. So anyway, check this out. So for me, the MLB. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a New York sports fan. So I believe that the World Series is going to be the Mets and the Yankees. And the Yankees are obviously going to win because they're the better team. So that's my prediction for that. All right. For the NBA, I'm definitely going with the Lakers. The Lakers, if they continue with the same momentum that they had when the season was over, they're definitely going to win. I don't think the Clippers have nothing. The Clippers, Leonard is a force, but I don't think they have what it takes to be LeBron when LeBron gets into the killer instinct mode because he never had it until that Warriors series that he got it, right? I think he got it then, right?
Whoa,
when he beat the Warriors, the Cleveland, he got that.
You forget that Miami game when he fucking destroyed Boston?
He didn't have it until now, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
Yo, he had that Yo, bro, you didn't see that
he probably had a glimpse of it, but he just learned that shit hard body. You know what it is to go against Kevin Durant, like Curry, fucking Thompson.
Whoa. Can I say something real quick?
Wait, well, as soon as that's my final thought, motherfucker.
I'm gonna respond with
when it's your final thought, you can final thought all you want, bro. Rivera's a man rule, bro. Anyway, so yeah. And you're the nicest one out of all of them. So, anyway, Look at this guy's face. He's ready to cut some meat right now.
Dude, it's funny.
I got the Yankees and the Mets in the World Series. I think the Yankees, if that happens, the Yankees will take it. Overall, I think the Yankees probably have a real good chance because of their bullpen, like Chris Ryder explained earlier. The NBA definitely hands down the Lakers and the Bucks. I think the Lakers got him because of the half court press. They can't rely on the Greek freak to score all the points. He's not good when it comes to half court press. You double team him is over. I think the Lakers have a more all around team. They have like veterans there. They have LeBron, and they're just too much of a killer force. In the NFL, I do agree that Pat Mahomes is a force to be reckoned with, but let's not forget about Tom Brady. I think the Buccaneers have a good chance of doing it. And I'm just gonna go with Tom Brady, bro, and the Buccaneers, bro. That's gonna be my final thought for who I think is gonna get this restart of the COVID-19 professional sport thing as far as championships goes. And our guest Joshua Rivera is gonna say his
Everybody calls him that shit too. Go ahead, motherfucker.
Me,
Speak your piece.
Me is MLB is the Yankees. Basketball is the Lakers because LeBron's playing this year. He's playing with redemption, and plus he's about to do it for Kobe. And another thing, Nelson, you talked about LeBron's killer instinct. He always had it in him. He was just scared to bring it out. You want to know why? And when you have a chance, go on YouTube. Watch the LeBron James series against the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, money don't make no money, bro.
When he watched the series between LeBron against Detroit Pistons, where they had Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, when he went off that overtime by himself, when the guy told him, let's join this. But let's get back to football. I got Tom Brady, man.
And at that time he was dolo too. He didn't have
Yeah, I got Tom Brady, man. Because if he wins this, I put him in front of Joe Montana. And I don't like Tom Brady, but if he wins,
Chris Ryder, on this show we just said it. Me and him, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, baby.
Tom Brady, bro. You want to know why? Because Tom Brady's the only person that can stick it to Mahomes.
Because
Brady ain't
in the American League no more. He's in the National League.
But it's
a different
Brady
conference
talking
now.
about, bro. I don't like him.
So the American League is definitely gonna be either the Chiefs or the Ravens that are coming out of the American League.
Nelson, talk to him, man. It's Brady we talking about at the end of the day, bro.
Whatever.
I don't like him, but it's Brady.
Come on.
All right, cool.
Yo, what happens when you try to challenge Michael Jordan? He comes with a force, bro. Like Tom Brady misses this year, last year, bro. He's gonna retire, bro, with that extra Super Bowl.
With a ring.
I tell you, bro.
And this ring he needs to pass Joe Montana for me.
Yeah.
I put Joe Montana as still the GOAT.
Yeah. Well, I think Tom Brady kind of passed him on that one, but I'll let you live on that.
Oh, we can talk about that in person.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Rivera's getting mad personal with it. What the hell's going on right now?
No, because it's the truth, bro. He look at the era he played it.
We don't ever get personal, baby. We just can't be wrong. That's the problem.
Damn, man.
I can't be wrong.
I thought it was only a Sagittarius thing.
Nah, it's a little bit.
You lucky Timothy not in the show.
Yo, we gotta bring Timothy on the show. He's been fronting for a long time, man. So you know what we're gonna do one day? Yeah, I hate the fact you got LeBron doing some like extra shit with your shower curtains in the back. What the hell? Yo, Smokey back there taking a shit, man. On some Friday shit. Listen, so what I propose is the following. I know you Riveras be at each other's necks. But I want to have all three Riveras on the show one day. You think we can make that happen?
Yeah, we could.
If you make that happen, there's no going to be chaos.
It's going to be chaos. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know, Josh. You don't know the chaos.
I know
it's going to be chaos. Oh, you know, but with me there, I know how to get under Timothy's skin, so it's going to be chaos.
But listen, it's good that we're doing this remotely and you guys are not under the same roof because Chris Ryder brings his knives.
Oh, yeah, he killing all of us. He ain't surviving that.
Everybody dead. But anyway, so that's my cue to get out of here.
You already know, man. Jeremiah, say what's up to Jeremiah, the nephew. Even though I'm a non-blood uncle, but I'm still an uncle. I love Jeremiah to death.
Yeah, man.
I actually had a dream one time that I was gonna have like a kid or a nephew that his name was Jeremiah. So when you told me you was naming him Jeremiah, that was shit. That was great. But Joshua, you're a great uncle, bro, and you and Timothy are definitely Definitely.
I really appreciate you. I just want to say, I really appreciate you guys bringing me on the show, and I like to see the show, y'all show grow. That give good entertainment that we need right now. With what's going on, y'all continue doing your thing. I wish y'all the best. And before I leave, I want to say this: the Mets suck.
Oh man, yo,
they always suck.
Yo, Josh, you got some lace chip residue on your lip there, bro. Stop eating lace chip.
I have some. It's called rice. It's called rice.
Yo, arroz con pollo. You already know.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys.
Shout out to John Tavar, who couldn't be here. He's in being bougie in Long Island. He has a nice beachfront house, chilling over there. He's swimming with the waves, saying, "Oh yeah." So you already know we're chiming off, man. He's probably lit, so he didn't even come on today. But we're definitely going to end the show. Josh, thanks for coming on, man. Again, I appreciate you, bro. You're definitely a sports guru like me, man. I appreciate it. And thanks for not being a Mets fan like your brother. You heard? You heard?
You right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. We out of here, man. You already know the Nothing on Tail podcast. We out here.
Good night.
Turn off that mic, boy.
Y tú estás atrás con tu negatividad. Aunque tú estés pa' mí, tengo dos más que quieren estar aquí a la misma vez, pero yo no me manejo así. Si tomo SOP, pa' que tú te pongas Saiyajin. Bebiendo lean, esto parece mi tolín. Yo la conocí en Manhattan, en un bloque caliente donde mata. Su papá usa manteca y fuma jarata. Ella baila de mono bachata. Su mamá sabe que mata, pero eso no la traza. Ella estudia, trabaja, de noche se busca la paz. Y está cambiando la paz. Prende después de la clase, habla de cuando nada más, ni menos ni más. De lo que gana quiere la mitad, despierta la...
Bring that back real quick. Steady Flirt, a.k.a. Leo Limit. I got the back remix. You already know what it is.
Yo estaba toqueado, te tuve en mi mente, después dije coñole. Pa' que estás aquí ya, hay pile mujeres, tu número yo borré. Pa' que enamorar, si no quiero estar con ella nada más. Quiero progresar y tú estás atrás con tu negatividad. Aunque tú estés pa' mí, tengo dos más que quieren estar aquí a la misma vez, pero yo no me manejo así. Si tomo SOP, pa' que tú te pongas Saiyajin. Bebiendo lean, esto parece mi tolín. Yo la conocí en Manhattan, en un bloque caliente donde mata. Su papá usa manteca y fuma jarata. Ella baila de mono bachata. Su mamá sabe que mata, pero eso no la traza. Ella estudia, trabaja, de noche se busca la paz. Y está cambiando la paz. Prende después de la clase, habla de cuento nada más, ni menos ni más. De lo que gana quiere la mitad, despierta la realidad. Por eso que yo no me dejo llevar, aunque se quiere entregar, aunque me quiere chapear, aunque ella quiere abusar. Porque tú no quieres estar, pues ahí está la puerta. No te va a ir bien, a ti te va a ir mal. Y que yo te ofende con mi vocal. Yo estoy en la Y, tú y tu amiga las dos tan fresh, tan turulé. Dando cabeza, está duro el net, después el Ubernet. Siempre un like cuando tú me ves, no como tú es. Te burlaste dejando de ver. Yo estaba toqueado, te tuve en mi mente, después dije coñole. Pa' que estás aquí ya, hay pile mujeres, tu número yo borré. Pa' que enamorar, si no quiero estar con ella nada más. Quiero progresar y tú estás atrás con tu negatividad. Aunque tú estés pa' mí, tengo dos más que quieren estar aquí a la misma vez, pero yo no me manejo así. Si tomo SOP, pa' que tú te pongas Saiyajin. Bebiendo lean, esto parece mi tolín.